how to predict the next economic supercycle. Welcome to the Wealth Alchemy channel. Here we don't chase daily market noise or panic over short-term volatility. Instead, we decode the deep macroeconomic forces that shift global wealth across generations. Our guiding philosophy is simple: master the tides of time, build your sovereign fortune. If you are ready to stop reacting to the economy and start predicting it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a structural macro update. Chapter 1. The Code of Human Civilization. Time is the ultimate currency of the cosmos, but in global economics, it does not move in a straight line. It moves in loops, rhythms, and colossal, unstoppable waves. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to their immediate environment, worrying about today's inflation print, yesterday's stock market dip, or next month's interest rate decision. This is the trap of the microscopic view. When you look at the economy through a magnifying glass, everything looks like a random sequence of accidents, crises, and sudden market shocks. True wealth alchemy is the art of expanding your vision until the chaos transforms into a pattern. It is the realization that what looks like a chaotic storm on the surface is actually driven by a deep, rhythmic undercurrent. In the early 1920s, a brilliant Russian economist named Kondratiev discovered an invisible law that governs human civilization. By gathering centuries of data on wholesale prices, wages, and interest rates across Europe and the United States, he proved that capitalist economies are governed by massive structural supercycles lasting 50 to 60 years. Kondratiev discovered that human progress moves forward in immense cyclical pulses, each triggered by a radical, world-changing technological revolution. When a new technology emerges, it completely restructures infrastructure, alters human behavior, and births entirely new industries. This is the Kondratiev Wave, or the K-Wave. When you understand the K-Wave, you unlock the core principle of wealth alchemy, the deliberate process of shifting your capital away from dying, structurally exhausted assets and positioning it at the very base of the next major supercycle. Chapter 2. The 4 macro seasons of capital. To read the K-Wave map, you must learn to recognize its 4 distinct macro seasons. The global economic supercycle moves through spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Each season requires a completely different financial strategy. K-Wave Spring lasts roughly 20 to 25 years and is born out of the ashes of the previous economic winter. It begins when a cluster of groundbreaking technologies moves into mass infrastructure. Think of the steam engine in the late 1700s, the automobile in the mid-1900s, or the internet in the late 1990s. In the spring phase, productivity skyrockets because new technology allows businesses to produce more wealth with less effort. Inflation remains remarkably low, corporate debts are clean, and unemployment drops steadily, making it the ideal era to invest in equities and early-stage innovation. K-Wave Summer is the acceleration phase, lasting 10 to 15 years. During summer, the revolutionary technologies become fully mainstream, but the economic engine begins to overheat. Debt piles up, resource scarcity kicks in, commodity prices spike, and wages must go up. This triggers structural inflation, forcing central banks to aggressively raise interest rates, which leads to sudden market corrections and geopolitical tensions. K-Wave Autumn is a 10 to 12-year window that feels like permanent prosperity, but it is built entirely on an illusion. It is a period of selective asset bubbles, massive speculation, and unprecedented financial engineering. The real manufacturing economy slows down behind the scenes, so governments and central banks pump cheap credit and artificial liquidity into the system. This easy money floods directly into speculative markets, creating real estate manias and stock market parabolic runs, where ordinary investors feel the most confident buying assets at the absolute peak. K-Wave Winter is the unavoidable cleansing phase, lasting 15 to 20 years. This is the grand debt deflation, where the massive, unpayable liabilities accumulated over the previous 40 years must be systemically purged. Winter brings deflationary crashes, banking strain, and massive economic restructuring. While most investors see only destruction, winter is a biological necessity for the global markets. Without it, the dead weight of bad debt can never be cleared away. Winter is the fertile ground where the seeds of the next global spring are quietly planted. Chapter 3. Tracking the Historic Supercycles. Since the dawn of the Industrial Age, human civilization has climbed across 5 distinct Kondratiev waves, each following the exact same sequence of seasons with absolute precision. The first K-wave ignited in the late 1780s, driven by the steam engine and the industrialization of textiles, turning England into a global powerhouse before entering a deflationary winter in the 1830s. The second K-wave emerged in the 1840s, powered by steel and the age of railways, connecting continents and ending in the long depression of the late 1870s. The third K-wave kicked off at the turn of the 20th century, driven by electrical engineering and heavy chemistry, bringing electricity into homes before triggering the Great Depression of the 1930s. The fourth K-wave began in the late 1940s, powered by the automobile, petrochemicals, and mass consumer goods, peaking with the intense oil shocks of the 1970s. This brings us to the fifth K-wave, which began its spring expansion in the early 1990s, driven by information technology, software, and the birth of the global internet. This wave shifted humanity into a digital-first knowledge economy. It hit its summer correction with the dot-com crash, enjoyed its autumn plateau with the mid-2000s credit boom, and crashed into the global financial crisis of 2008. Since 2008, the global economy has been trapped inside the exhausting, painful depths of the fifth wave's winter. To prevent a complete systemic collapse, central banks printed tens of trillions of dollars in artificial currency and held interest rates near 0% for over a decade. This monetary injection simply delayed the inevitable, creating a hyperinflated everything bubble. Today, we are facing the structural bills of that delay: peak sovereign debt, fractured global supply chains, institutional mistrust, and sticky inflation. We are living through the final, definitive contractions of the fifth wave's winter. Chapter 4. The Great Convergence. The sixth wave. The deepest part of winter is exactly where the next spring is born. We are currently standing at the absolute intersection of two generational eras. The fifth Kondratiev Wave is finishing its death cycle, and the sixth Kondratiev Wave is officially beginning its historic ascent. The next 50-year supercycle will not be driven by the simple mobile internet or basic software apps. The traffic dividend of smartphones has completely peaked. Instead, the sixth Kondratiev Wave is powered by a deeper, more profound paradigm shift: the integration of silicon and carbon. The core engine of this wave is the convergence of artificial intelligence, advanced robotics, spatial computing, and decentralized infrastructure. In the fifth wave, software helped humans work faster. In the sixth wave, intelligent systems will execute the work autonomously, shifting us from human-managed software to automated intelligence networks. This automation wave requires an unbelievable amount of structural support, forcing a simultaneous revolution in next-generation energy networks, solid-state batteries, and small modular nuclear reactors, because energy abundance is the fuel of the sixth wave. At the same time, this cognitive technology is being applied to life sciences, unlocking the era of generative biology and programmable medicine to add decades of productive lifespan to the global population. Furthermore, the geopolitical winter of the fifth wave has permanently damaged old models of cheap, globalized manufacturing. The sixth wave is solving this through hyper-localized supply chains, combining advanced robotics with autonomous 3D printing to bring manufacturing back home with zero human labor friction. In this new macro landscape, Old asset classes relying on cheap human labor and outdated software models will experience structural obsolescence, while an elite group of new infrastructure assets will capture a massive multi-trillion-dollar ocean of fresh capital. Chapter 5. The Wealth Alchemy Playbook. A wealth alchemist does not build long-term generational wealth by trading daily charts. They execute a clear, multi-year asset allocation playbook that aligns with the changing of the macro seasons. The core blueprint for the early stage of the sixth Kondratiev Wave relies on three strategic rules: focus on computational and physical infrastructure. During the early spring phase of any K-wave, companies making final consumer applications are highly risky and unstable. Instead, you want to own the shovels in a gold rush. This means allocating capital toward advanced semiconductor fabrication, localized clean energy grids, automated data centers, and the rare raw materials required to build advanced hardware. The entities that control the physical foundations of automated intelligence will extract the highest rent from the global economy. Embrace decentralized infrastructure and asymmetric assets. As the old financial order undergoes its painful winter unwinding, traditional fiat currencies will continue to lose purchasing power due to chronic debt printing. To protect and compound liquid capital, maintaining a strategic position in high-conviction, secure digital assets is critical. Decentralized Layer 1 networks with fixed programmatic supplies and high developer activity represent an entirely new, parallel financial architecture designed to facilitate the automated sixth-wave economy. Balance exponential growth with hard, cash-flowing assets. True alchemy requires balance. While allocating a portion of wealth to exponential technology, you must anchor the base of your pyramid in concrete reality by owning high-quality, unencumbered real estate in regions experiencing real economic and demographic growth. Precision real estate, such as modern logistics hubs, automated commercial warehouses, and premium residential spaces, acts as a critical macroeconomic anchor that protects your purchasing power during the volatile transition years. Finally, you must master the art of cyclical patience. The transition from a K-wave winter into a K-wave spring takes years of choppy, volatile adjustments. Your job is to ignore short-term market traps and systematically accumulate your target assets over time. Chapter 6. Awakening the Alchemist. Within the global economy is a complex living organism that cannot be controlled by politicians or stopped by central banks. The macro seasons will turn regardless of whether the world is ready or not. The winter will always purge the old, and the spring will always birth the new. When you look across the landscape of the next decade, do not look through the lens of fear. The headlines will tell you to panic because the media is paid to look at short-term ripples. The current structural chaos is not a sign of the end of the world. It is simply the signature of a K-wave winter coming to its natural completion. Every great family fortune in modern history was forged during periods exactly like this. Chaos is the grand equalizer, where wealth detaches from the unprepared and migrates toward the strategic. To awaken the wealth alchemist within yourself, you must commit to a higher level of financial education. Stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a structural architect. Align your capital with the unstoppable tides of human advancement. Protect your base, stay liquid, and maintain the courage to invest when the rest of the crowd is paralyzed by fear. The sixth Kondratiev Wave is starting its engine. The cycle is moving forward, and the next global spring is officially on the horizon. Join the inner circle. Before you go, if you found value in this deep dive into macroeconomics, remember to subscribe to the Wealth Alchemy channel and turn on all notifications. Drop a comment below, letting us know where you are positioning your capital for the sixth wave. Do not be left behind in the frozen fields of the old winter. Ride the supercycle to personal sovereignty. We will see you in the next video.